U.S. History Standard 1. Describe European settlement in North America during the 17th century. This standard is designed to measure your knowledge of the colonization of North America. You'll be asked questions about American colonies established by the British, Dutch, and French, and about the interaction of these Europeans with the Native Americans. Virginia was the first permanent English colony in North America. It was a business venture of the Virginia Company, an English firm that planned to make money by sending people to America to find gold and other valuable natural resources and then ship the resources back to England. The Virginia Company established a legislative body that was similar to England's Parliament called the House of Burgesses. The House of Burgesses was the first European-type legislative body in the New World. People were sent from England to work for the Virginia Company. They discovered no gold but learned how to cultivate tobacco. Tobacco quickly became a major cash crop and important source of wealth in Virginia. It also helped lead to major social and economic division between those who owned the land and those who did not. Additionally, tobacco cultivation was labor-intensive and caused the Virginia colony's economy to become highly dependent on slavery. Native Americans had lived for centuries on the land the English settlers called Virginia. A notable Native American chief in the region was Powhatan. Soon after the English settlers arrived, they forced the Native Americans off their own land so it could be used by the settlers for agricultural purposes, especially to grow tobacco. Their action caused many Native Americans to flee the region and seek new places to live. However, all the colonists did not own land. Poor English and slave colonists staged an uprising against the governor and his land-owning supporters. In what is called Bacon's Rebellion, the landless rebels wanted harsher action against the Native Americans, so more land would be available to the colonists. The rebellion was put down, and the Virginia House of Burgesses passed laws to regulate slavery, so poor white colonists could no longer side with slaves against rich white colonists. The first New England colonies were established by the Puritans in present-day Massachusetts. Most of the colonists came with their whole family for a better life and to practice religion as they saw fit. As a result of strict religious beliefs, the Puritans were not tolerant of religious beliefs that differed from their own. Rhode Island was founded by religious dissenters from Massachusetts who were more tolerant of different religious beliefs. Communities are often run through town meetings unless the king had established a colony control over the colony. In colonies that the king controlled, there was often an appointed royal governor and a partially elected legislature. Voting rights were limited to men who belonged to the church, and church membership was tightly controlled by each minister and congregation. As more and more children were born in America, many grew up to be adults who lacked a personal covenant or a relationship with God, the central feature of Puritanism. In response, Puritan ministers encouraged a halfway covenant to allow partial church membership for the children and grandchildren of the original Puritans. King Philip's War was an early and bloody conflict between colonists and Native Americans. It was named after the leader of the Native Americans. King Philip's Native American name was Metacom. Many colonists died in the war, but it caused such a heavy loss of life among the Native American population that large areas of southern New England became English settlements. In 1686, the British king canceled the Massachusetts Charter that made it an independent colony. To get more control over trade between America and the colonies, he combined British colonies throughout New England into a single territory governed from England. The colonists in this territory greatly disliked the central authority. In 1691, Massachusetts Bay became a royal colony. In the 1690s, the famous Salem witch trials took place. In a series of court hearings, over 150 Massachusetts colonists accused of witchcraft were tried, 29 of which were convicted and 19 were hanged. At least 6 more people died in prison. Causes of the Salem witch trials include extreme religious faith, stress from a growing population, and its bad relation with Native Americans, and the narrow opportunities for women and girls to participate in Puritan society. Pennsylvania was in the territory between New England and Virginia. It was a colony founded by the religiously tolerant Quakers, led by William Penn. Further north, New York was settled by the Dutch, who called it New Amsterdam. In 1664, the British conquered the colony and renamed it New York. A diverse population kept alive the center of trade and commerce found by the Dutch, whom the British invited to remain there. With members of various British and Dutch churches, New York tolerated different religions. France, like its European rival Great Britain, settled colonies to secure the valuable natural resources of North America and export them back to Europe. Quebec was the first permanent French settlement in North America. The French constructed their colonists to spread the Catholic faith in the New World. The British encouraged their colonists to establish Protestantism, but they were actually more interested in the wealth of natural resources the colonists could send back to Britain. Still, the reason many British colonists moved to the New World was for the opportunity to establish societies of tolerant societies built on their own religious beliefs. In a sample question, which factor directly affected the settlement of New England in the 1600s? Religious persecution in Great Britain, the opportunity to cultivate tobacco, growing conflicts with Southern farmers, the chance to participate in the slave trade. The answer is A, religious persecution in Great Britain.